I'm David Gibbs, Executive Director of the Blue Devils.
And I'm Wayne Downey, Music Director and Arranger for the Concord Blue Devils.
This year's production was entitled Jazz Music Made in America. We wanted to get back to our roots and back to jazz, as well as celebrate the American spirit with this year's production.
The show itself is really an explanation of the evolution of jazz, starting with rag. We're going to do Ragtime by Stephen Flattery, as well as Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin.
This was a different year for us. We had to do major changes throughout the summer. The show we started with and the show we ended with was two different productions. We changed probably 75% of the show, and the very first move is one of the first changes we made. We started very small and very slow, and we changed it to what you're going to see is a very fast-paced 200 beats per minute opening.
The musical arrangement really features the pit being our piano because, as you all know, rag was written for piano.
One of the things we want to do with Ragtime is to really start the personality of the show. And Scott Chandler, our color guard designer, can really set the mood like no other designer can. And he starts it out with personality, a fun flavor to it.
One of the challenges that we had with this arrangement was really blending the brass instruments with the pit and creating our rag, our orchestration of what a rag should sound like with brass and percussion. Jeff Lee, percussion arranger, did a fabulous job in creating the character and personality of the rag using not only the mallet keyboard instruments, but all the percussion accessories.
This is really a fun moment for the color guard. Hat trick where they'll toss and take their hat off.
The blending of the ragtime with Maple Leaf Rag was really a great idea that was brought to us by Romero Barrera, the program coordinator, who sat with Jeff and figured, how can we bring both these pieces alive in a real congruent manner, blending them both?
Once again, this whole production was really to set up the flavor of the whole show, and another moment for the color guard to add the personality to it. The little Charlie Chaplin, and right here they really have a fun moment as they rush to the front. And this is where we start picking up the speed and pace to set up the ending of Ragtime that Jay Murphy, the drill designer, will do as we wind things up here at the end.
One of the performance challenges that the performers had was the fast pace and the speed of the rag, as you can see. The really simultaneous responsibilities of music and motion were really high here, and they really did a great job in bringing the music to life.
And a little tip to the hat and a tip of the horn line to the side. Again, just a fun atmosphere at the beginning. It's a little bit different for us. We've probably never started a show like this before that had that fun element. And now we're going to change moods and head into our next production.
Next production is I Got Rhythm and Fascinating Rhythm. In our evolution of jazz music, we move on to George Gershwin.
This is, again, one of the productions that we really changed a lot. We really wanted to give it an identity and a good sense of flow to it. Beginning here, it was very structured, and Jay Murphy, the drill designer, decided to unstructure it and present a little bit more free form and let the color guard integrate. As we now head into I Can Do It Better Than You Can part of the show, and coming up right here, we'll set it up for the soprano feature and the sabers and snare line.
The original arrangement is by Rob McConnell's big band. I had a great time taking his original arrangement and adjusting it and manipulating it, because my challenge as an arranger was blending both I Got Rhythm and Fascinating Rhythm, because Rob's arrangement was just I Got Rhythm.
You know, Wayne talks about challenges, and there's also a challenge that we have as designers is to present the sections and the talents of all members of the corps. We really are fortunate enough to have incredible performers. And here Jay Murphy, again, the drill designer, staging the snare line as they roll across the front, the alto line, soprano line, and now the sabers. You know, the big hit, or one of the big hits here in the rhythm production.
The design team had so much fun creating this piece, taking the melodies and integrating them into one cohesive unit. Here's the percussions feature and their first statement in I Can Do Anything Better Than You Can. Now this is going to be followed next by the answer to the percussion, which will be the brass section. And now you notice that each one of these sections is very virtuosic in nature. And now the pit. And then you'll notice the pit will go ahead and hand off the next thought to the brass. The intensity changes here are great. After the brass statement, now the percussion statement.
One of the things we really enjoyed about this production, especially as we started rewriting it, was how much we could present this up to the audience and get them involved. And here's one of the moments that we really connected with the audience. It's our rack moment, where the drum line came up and individually played on the rack and then as a section. And it really was a unique way to use a rack for the percussion. And now as we get winding up again towards the ending, you'll see the boxes rolling around and rolling down to the front. This is a huge part of the show that we really had to come to grips with in terms of how to make the ending work, and we changed this towards the end of the season.
This is really our big band swing, Dave Glide's brainchild. And the thing about this particular production, as well as this resolution, is the myriad of musical styles. This just happened to be the big band swing. But if you listen carefully to this point, we probably went through about 7 or 8 different types of music styles. And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, we really felt like this was just all came together for us. This is one of those changes that works the way you imagine it. And what's cool about it is that all sections got to participate in one of the crowd favorite endings we've ever had.
This next moment is just kind of a fun moment. It's what we call the hat trick. And it's really taking the I Got Rhythm melody and detaching it and real sporadically, which really matches the choreography and the personality and character of the color guard at this point.
But one of the things you struggle with is how to make the show seamless, and that's taking equipment on and off the field. So this was actually developed with the idea of how to take the hats off the field and also create an effect, which we got to be able to do both. A transition to get the hats off and a very fun moment that the audience got a chance to laugh at and have a good time with.
And feature our fabulous trumpet soloist, Mr. Jeff Lynne.
Here's a unique prop that Scott developed. Not a flag, not a rifle, but hair.
This is our next tune, which is an old Eric Burdon tune called House of the Rising Sun, which is really our exploration into blues, the next evolution in our jazz history. If you notice, we started off with this real bluesy, but in a very lamenting style, kind of a la New Orleans, which is really a composition originally written by our color guard instructor, Mr. Scott Chandler, that I orchestrated for the brass section. This very fast 3 jazz section is very unique in the fact that there are multiple meters going on now with the feet that you really can't see at this point in time, but very, very challenging for the performers, moving to the dotted 8th note, also moving to the quarter note, and also single time.
And what also it does, it gives us an opportunity to spread out and paint the canvas of the football field with all sections, integrate all 3 sections together as we set up for our huge hit, rip your clothes off, get down and dirty section of the show.
A la the Blue Devils. The performers had a wonderful time with this part of the show. It really gave them the opportunity to become emotionally involved and communicate to the audience. This is probably one of their most favorite moments throughout the entire show.
It really, it was a fun moment for the members, like Wayne discussed, but also it was a hard moment to create from a design sense, just to make sure that we truly captured the intensity and the raw feeling that the members were portraying to their instruments.
Dave earlier talked about creating seamless transitions from the point of view of equipment handling with the color guard. Here we try to create another seamless transition musically, going from the end of House of the Rising Sun into Channel 1 Suite. Now, if you listen carefully, you'll start to hear bits and pieces and fragments of the bass line of Channel 1 Suite start to develop as we move out of House of the Rising Sun.
As we head in Channel 1 Suite, again with our theme of changing the entire show during the summer, we really took this production and we scaled it back we really wanted to give it a sense of flow and impact and make sure it was as tight as possible. So this is the motifs that Wayne discussed as we set up into the first hit. And this is our setup into the big company front with the first impact with the rifles.
And this is Buddy Rich Big Band Channel 1 Suite by Bill Reddie.
In the next couple sets here, we actually stay symmetrical. One of the few places in the show that we will do our tribute to symmetry.
In the arrangement, what I tried to do is take moments and glimpses of the old arrangement and blend them with the new arrangement. Very tough at times, but Scott Johnson, the percussion director, and I decided we needed to be not only true to the original arrangement as the Blue Devils did it in 1976, but also bring new thoughts to it in the update for the 2002 show.
We fondly call this section the stripper section. Again, one of those hard moments to set up. A lot of the effects are created not just by the effect, but the setup and how you get back out of it again.
The great thing about this piece of music is the variety of styles that are built into the original arrangement, which really complements the 2002 Blue Devil show because of the different types of musical styles throughout the entire program that the performers had to learn to master and communicate to their audience.
And we're setting up the end of the show right here as all these wheels come together out of nowhere to set up a big, gigantic total core move. And the racks worked so well throughout the rhythm production. We brought them back on the field, and the drum line as they run around really brings a high intensity to the end of the show.
The Concord Blue Devils 2002. We hope you've enjoyed it.
And we sure enjoyed this summer. It was a challenging year for the Blue Devils, but a very rewarding year. The members had a great time, the staff had a great time, and we hope you enjoyed it.